Well, anyway, thanks for inviting me. Very flattered, to be here. The one who's probably the most happy that I'm here is my dog, because he's heard my spiel enough times to where you kind of get this look of enough. So anyway, I learned a lot by listening to Stacy's presentation because I haven't done this before. So with the limited amount of time that we have, is we can circle back and cover them. But some of the areas that I wanted to cover is, tell you a little bit more about my background. I'll tell you what you need to know about my business. And probably the most interesting area I want to cover is an area I call, the business of doing business. And also a crystal ball of what goes on. So very briefly with my business is I'm a corporate refugee, worked in the aerospace industry, did an awful lot of really cool things. I managed we made the flight controls for a lot of things that move the flaps, thrust reversers, things that open up the engine doors and such. And so I had every major airline in the world, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, cool, traveled, everything. But I realized I wasn't a true corporate climber. And also, I got caught up in downsizing, right sizing, whatever. And I decided, this life isn't for me. And so I had the opportunity. I saw a segment on the Today Show that says, what would you be doing if you weren't doing the Today Show? And I thought, you know what? I'd really like to be a carpenter, work with my hands. I got a business background, got exposed to the chimney business. There we go. Was in the chimney business for 27 years, sold a business, and then went to work for an engineering firm out of Virginia. And I now currently also go around the country, investigate insurance claims for chimney fires and hail and roof damage. So anyway, that's that. So I got back into the business in the most unusual way, which was people were calling me to clean and inspect their chimney. I says, no, I can't do it because I got a do not compete clause. So this has happened repeatedly. So I Googled myself. How are people finding me? And so anyway, I find out that I am the only certified chimney guy from the Lakeshore to Detroit to Grand Rapids to Indiana. So I thought, well, okay, I'll start a little something just to handle stuff that dribbles in. Well, you get started in it, and then, it stirs up the juices, and you get going, and it's like, okay, let's do a little bit more. So now, it's like it's exploded. So that's how I'm in right now. So now what you need to know about my business is the dangers that present a chimney. If the furnace flue is plugged, your house can fill up with carbon monoxide, and guess what? People die. If your fireplace wood stove is dirty, it'll eventually catch on fire, and of course, bad things happen at that point. So what you simply need to know as a consumer is you need to call the right qualified person, and locally, I am the only one who qualifies for that. So it isn't a sales pitch, but it's just simply, that's how I got back in the business. Now, probably the thing that we can all relate to is, I call it, as I said, the business of doing business, is that in its rudimentary form, is that there's really no difference between what goes on in my business and what goes on, say, with Stryker. We all have marketing, finance, accounting, labor relations, so on and so forth. One of the subtle little differences is that with Stryker, they've got hundreds of people in their marketing department, finance department. You are looking at my entire marketing department right here. And over here is my finance department. You know where I'm going. So anyway, but some of the things that are unique about both is that we both have clients have needs, we have a solution. We have to be able to listen to what their problem is. And if we don't have the exact solutions to the problems, we need to adapt. We also need to know what our competition is doing. So, because if we can't fix their problem, someone else will. So, so let's see here. What other good stuff we're going to be talking about? We got one more minute. So, well, that's a good question because, as I said, I sold my business before. So with this high demand into here, so I went into this with the intention of, well, okay, I'm going to build my business up again and sell it again. Okay, why not? So I got back into it largely from a standpoint of what really I get excited about is taking an idea and running with it, developing it. That to me is really exciting. And there's a couple other familiar faces who know somewhat my story, and I've dabbled in other things. And in fact, if I look a little familiar to some of you, it's like how do we know? I've seen you before, and where. And when you see somebody out of context, there we go. So, and I'll tell you about that a little later. So, okay, I'll see you later. No. Wait. So anyway, but with our businesses is that with our clients, we have to project a confidence that they need to have in you that we can solve their problems. So really, getting back to what I was saying is there isn't a whole lot of difference. And I've sat in with Boeing, with major airlines and stuff, and there isn't a little difference than, Mr. and Mrs. Jones knowing that they got a problem with their chimney and how can I help them. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell.